Hi, my name is Brandon Yamada, and I chose to do my report on George Condo. George Condo was born in 1957, and after high school, he went and studied both music and art history at the University of Massachusetts in Lowell. After 2 years of college, he moved to Boston and worked at a silkscreen shop. While working on art, he also joined a band called The Girls. For a few of their gigs, another band called The Gray opened up for them. One of their members was Jean-Michel Basquiat. The two became familiar with each other after some of Condo's band members began to take the music too seriously. He fled to New York to focus on his art. Jean-Michel also lived in New York, and they started to build their strong friendship. In New York, Condo was working for an agency and was assigned to do a press release for a gallery exhibition. The exhibition was for Andy Warhol and his master printer at the time. After Warhol read the press release, he said he wanted whoever wrote it to come and work for him as a typist to record what goes on every day at his factory. Condo landed a dream job working for the esteemed Andy Warhol. When he first started as a typist, he didn't really know what to do, and he really didn't do much. After some time, the painting needed some retouching, and he was asked if he could do the job. He put a small drop on the painting, and was then hired to work on the production line. Here he worked long 10 to midnight shifts with low wages. Warhol didn't work at the factory, but instead at another office in New York, and Condo only saw him once. After 9 months at the factory, he quit and moved to Los Angeles with his girlfriend at the time. Basquiat had also moved to LA, and the two saw each other nearly every day. Here in LA was Condo's first solo exhibition, and after moving to Germany for a bit, he moved back to New York. Jean-Michel had also moved back to New York, but they didn't see each other much. Condo ended up meeting Keith Haring, and the two became great friends. Later that year, Condo moved to Paris and lived between there and New York for a decade. At one of Condo's first shows in New York, Warhol bought 4 of his paintings, and Haring told Condo that Warhol wanted to meet him. The two became friends, and he and Warhol talked often afterwards and would go eat dinner together. He never actually told them that he had worked for him, and Warhol even had a small painting by him next to his bed when he died. Condo really enjoyed the people in Paris and the way everyone uplifted each other and hung out. He first stayed at Hotel Loti, where he did a series of drawings, and after 6 months there, he moved to Hotel Verona, where artists would come over all the time, and his good friend Keith Haring lived on the floor above. Jean-Michel had also lived down the street in Paris, and they started to hang out again, and the three became very close friends. Haring unfortunately died in 1990, and Basquiat in 1988. Here in Paris, he also became close friends with William Burroughs, and they had many collaborations from 1988 to 1996. They were very similar and had their own strange and unique styles. They worked on paintings, sculptures, etchings, and writings together. In 1995, Condo left Paris and moved to Manhattan. Over these years, Condo became well respected and well known. He won a number of awards and did lectures at multiple Ivy League schools and museums. His work was also housed in museums and exhibits across the globe. He did other collaborative projects with people in other genres, including Kanye West in 2010. He designed 5 album covers for West, along with album artwork. He and Kanye bounced ideas off each other and inspired one another. The album cover they decided to go with ended up being banned from stores and instead being censored. Condo was upset, but he did gain popularity among the masses after this collaboration. West also came to one of his openings, and Condo painted on a Birkin bag that Kanye gifted to Kim in 2013 for Christmas. In 2011, Condo had an exhibition called Mental States, which displayed various pieces over the last 30 years. Soon after this, he had a battle with cancer, and due to his immune system being down, he got triple pneumonia after, after contracting Legionnaires' disease, which many people died from. Fortunately, he was able to recover. Here's an image of the original artwork and the one that was released. Over the past few years, he has been more active than ever. In 2016, he had an exhibit called Entrance to the Void in LA. The same year, he had a larger one called Confrontation. At Entrance to the Void, there are some darker paintings that were made when he was sick, and at Confrontation, it was another occasion where he displayed pieces from over the years, including some that were unreleased. This exhibit also had paintings from the likes of Picasso, Matisse, and Klimt. The same year, he also set a new record when his portrait, Blue Diagonal Head, which is in the background, sold for $1.9 million. And just recently, in 2017, he sold 5 paintings, priced between $20,000 and $60,000 at Art Basel in Hong Kong. One thing Condo did a lot was reference work from other artists. He would use their style or even objects from their work. He said, "I think that one thing that is really important for artists is that you can paint like anyone you want. You just can't paint what they painted." He would use various artist styles and combine them to make something completely new. He would combine and reinterpret styles that nobody else would create or think of. He also said, "The only way for me to feel the difference between every other artist and me is to use every artist to become me." He truly created his own style by taking parts from other artists. In his Confrontation exhibit, he had paintings that influenced his own side by side so people could see how his contained elements from their work, but his was completely different. One area he took a lot of inspiration from is from old master paintings, and when he was in Paris, he worked with a certified copyist and would replicate images at the Louvre. He has referenced a number of artists in his work and also compared to many of them as well. When working with West, he said that they are very similar, as Kanye samples old beats or harmonies and puts his own modern twist on it, making a completely new body of work. Not only would he reference artists, but he would reference points in his life or things he had seen or gone through. Many of his pieces had a story behind them, and he often draws from places where he has lived. One of his pieces reflected on the time he spent at Warhol's factory. In the late 90s, he noticed nobody utilized silkscreen, so he made his own interpretation at his Confrontation exhibit. In the background here, you can see that they were displayed next to each other. At his 2011 exhibit, Mental States, he had many stories to tell. He had a number of drawings from Loti, and he had combined them all in a painting because he did not want them to get separated. This piece was important to him because Paris was a huge part in his life and also a sad time because he lost 2 of his best friends. He also had gold skulls on display that he had to scavenge to find when his New York studio blew up on 9/11. He tied the similarities together of him trying to find his art while people at Ground Zero were searching for survivors. He also had a number of crucifixion paintings that were inspired by his Catholic knowledge and upbringing, along with a painting inspired by the outfits people described of aliens when they were abducted. While he was sick, he created some darker paintings that reflected his emotions and his mind at the time. Here's one when he was battling with cancer, crucifixion one, and the gold skulls. He has defined some of his motives and styles, along with ways and how he tries to communicate with the viewer. Here are some of his quotes. "I try to depict the characters' train of thought simultaneously. Hysteria, joy, sadness, desperation." He called his surrealistic style psychological cubism, exploiting our own imperfections, the private, off moments, or unseen aspects of humanity that often give way to some of painting's most beautiful moments. Picasso painted a violin with 4 different perspectives at one moment. I do the same with psychological states. 4 of them can occur simultaneously, like glimpsing a bus with one passenger howling over a joke they're hearing down the phone. Someone else asleep, someone else crying. I'll put them all in one face. expression that goes between a scream and a smile, says Condo, that reflects simultaneous emotions or conversations with the conflicting voices in your head. You can see the different expressions and facial features combined into one. Some ugly, some appealing, some sad, some mad. These things all create a single image and may express an emotion a normal face can't capture. In the 1990s, he coined these characters as pod people. Here are some other examples. Condo's work is mostly oil paintings, but also does drawings, sculptures, and collages. While constructing his paintings, he used to go about it as if he was making a sculpture. Then a light bulb went off, and he started to sculpt. He has a few signature styles that are easily recognized and that he has created himself. Many of his works are cubist portraitures. They are fictional portraits of real people or made-up people, and often have geometric shapes and angles. There are many that are provocative, sexual, and crude. He has received some criticism about using images from other artists' work. Most people understand that he is not copying and is actually making something completely original. Some people also got mad about his artwork for Kanye's overly sexual album cover. Others also said that he diminished the value of Kim's Birkin bag. I get that some things aren't for everyone, but I am a fan of the album artwork and the image on the bag. When Condo depicted Queen Elizabeth as some of his pod people, there were people that were very upset with him. I thought it was playful, and he publicly said he has no ill feelings towards the Queen. Even though he has some over-the-top images, there are strong techniques used. He draws a lot from classicism, which he executes well and creates illustrious pieces. He utilizes advert skills and utilizes them in his No Rules initiative. He has inspired others to think differently and experiment just as he did. When he was growing up, people were doing huge works of art such as Belize, Schnabel, and Sal, along with others doing graffiti style, like Basquiat and Herring. Rather than doing something he didn't like, he gravitated towards classic European art and master paintings. Even though they weren't popular and being done at the time, he ventured off in the area and put his own twist on it. He is an amazing and original artist that will surely go down in history. Here are some of the works that were popular at the time. And here are his.